But I have found right now one of the most unusual nodules I think I've ever found in my life. There. Now, let's see if this new camera can give this one justice. That is a nodule that looks like it's plumb full of malachite. Look at what it looks like around it, and then here's that sitting there. Okay, now to put it into scale, there's my rock hammer. What a hell of a piece. That could be the most beautiful, beautiful stone that we have ever seen. And while I'm sitting here talking, I potentially have just located another nodule. So we're following, and I believe that is a nodule. And oh my good grief, it is. Holy God almighty. I don't know what type of geological event created these big nodules to actually form out of Castle Mountain here. And that is another monster. So we're going to take that, if I can even lift the damn thing. Holy good little money. And put it with that. Look at the... Now, there's this scale. Holy... Now that's a big, big nodule. So we're just going to take the heel off of her and have a little peek inside. And then maybe the goal is to actually have it's kind of a peanut shaped. So we'll try to get the biggest exposure that we can. So it's going to be pretty damn interesting. Here's old Holy Toledo. And it's got some traces of malachite, so forth. I don't know. It's cold. But hey, let's see what the hell is in here. Yeah, that dang Holy Toledo, it's got some really weird ridging on this. So I don't know what to expect. So they're not really fractures, but it's big. It's a monster. It's a monster. Well, hopefully it's not a saw killer. We'll get it in the saw. Then we'll figure out what we're going to do as far as with old Covington Jr. and a few other nodules. Well, there's that monster in the saw. And we'll just cut right there and hope for the best. Please don't kill my saw. Hey, what's in old Covington Jr. here? Ain't that pretty? You see the green? That is in that episode right there. If you want to see some of this nephrite jade being collected, well, that's one of the signers, and it is beautiful material. But we're going to go ahead and put in Covington Jr. this solid agate nodule from Narrows Deep. And we'll cut this and we'll see if we can make ourselves a nice pretty nodule for display. We're going to take this material right here. It came from that episode right there over to the lapidary equipment, and we're going to create and just naturally polish this face. We've got this petroidal little pocket right here. Could be needing some additional cleaning. Let's just see just what we can do with the cabbing machine on this particular piece that has that natural face so we can sit there and display it, and it'll look similar to like a Fairburn agate. Always talk about them old Fairburns, but they sure are pretty. So anyway, let's get these saws humming. Welcome to the Evolution Rock Hunters. Anyway, thank you for all you subscribers out there that are helping us along. Oh, I can feel it. We're at the halfway point. So maybe I can get that $1 someday. And please, if you are a frequent viewer, you don't know just how much you can really help by just clicking that subscribe button. It helps so much, especially when you're just a little tater like the Evolution Rock Hunters. Remember, it's evolution, not revolution. And I won't tell anybody if you want to be incognito. So anyway, hey, I'm a squirrel, but I sure do appreciate everything that everybody does for the evolution. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. And thank you again so very much. The Holy Toledo is in there grinding. Wanted to show you yet again with that little $3 vise that I build. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut it at an angle, and we're going to go for one visual display agate with that nodule, and let's see what we come up with. You can just see the angle. See how I set that angle? Very easy to do. You got total control with it. And just look at that angle. Looks like those bolts will just barely clear the top there. But you know, diamond and steel, diamond will always win. So we're going to try to cut it just like that. We're in the bowels of Covington Jr. Pretty, huh? You didn't think I was here. I don't know who was moving that camera. It's the reason why we do it. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's see what Holy Toledo has to offer. Now, for a little bit of a bonus cut. We're going to cut this one. And it was in that episode right there, along with these pretty buggers. I don't know what it is. It looks different than the jasper. And it looks like it has some translucency to it. I don't think it's a marble. There's like a tupaline. But we're going to put that in Covington Jr. and see just what in the world that pretty stone has inside it. You can see these inclusions. They're tears, not fractures, similar to what a nephrite jade would be. I just got to figure out what face to go to see what we can get for cabochons. That is the difficult part. But look how gorgeous. This is one of those seams that I was discussing in that episode. It's a pressure ridge right there. It's pretty. But wow. These pieces right here that I got off of that one signer are just absolutely gorgeous. They're so good. That's not a break. That's actually what they call us. There is not a crack there. No crack. It looks like it has a crack, but it does not have a crack. There is not even a hairline there. I looked and looked and looked on that. It's kind of like a heel tear. And here's that. Isn't that so pretty? I really, truly like the nephrite jade. Let's see what that stone is going to produce. While we're waiting for Cummington Jr. to get done, just wanted to talk about tumbling. And the tumbling is probably some of the most inexpensive means of actually getting into this crazy hobby of gathering material and making them pretty. But the grits can actually start adding up pretty quick. And you'll see that the cabbing machines, I've actually got, my cabber is only about a $900 cabber. I want to upgrade into something. Sounds like Cummington Jr. is getting done. I want to upgrade into something, but it only took approximately about maybe 5 to 6, 7 minutes to actually polish the face of the one that I'm going to show here in just a moment. So let's get old Cummington Jr. cleaned up, and we'll see what we got here today. On the evolution, especially when we're being squirrely, we like to play. So you guess possibly which one this came from. This one seems to have a lot of malachite. It's got some fracturing, a bit chunk of matrix, large portion of quartz. Okay, we'll keep this. Like I said, some people like quartz, but I think the most pretty material is at the very bottom there. So you see that the formations of malachite in it. It's pretty interesting. Kind of got a little bit of a brecciated look to it. And then you got the quartz on the top. And here's another sleeve. So it's like it continued on. You see, that's that great big green one that I had such expectations. But you can see it just seems to just continue on with the same characteristics. So next cut, if I cut one, would be back in here. See if we can get into something different. You never know what's trapped in them. But there is that one. So by God, the Clickmeisters, monsters, meisters, all the above, I'm hoping I've got the people that are having a little soda pop, a little coffee, sitting there enjoying the Challis beauties. Now, isn't this so dang pretty? Old skull fly. But anyway, we have our materials. And of course, we have the Holy Toledo is in the saw. But isn't this a pretty little setup? Old skull fly there. He's in this episode right there to create. We have some jade on display. Pretty. You can see how that's shining through one into the other there. You see just how pretty that is. So we'll start off with the nodule that we actually were looking at that came out of Narrows Deep. And we wanted to just try to go for a display. Wasn't really giving us a whole lot. Let's see what we got. Well, not a whole lot. Right there is not what you would write home about. It's solid. There's no fractures. But it's pretty much quartz. So I would say that's about all it will be. Now, possibly, maybe we can put something like skullfly on that one. So it is a mini version of skullfly. How about this? This material here, which I went and researched, and it's right there, so I don't butcher it again. Okay, well, that's what it looks like. You can see how solid that is. Let's see if it'll See, you can see the translucency coming through that stone into that stone. So it's got its own look. Those little pseudomorphs or those red stains, I wish it would have penetrated down and in. But you can tell that is different material. It's a different type of material. And I'm pretty sure it's what I just had on the display there. You can see how translucent it actually is. Okay, and here's the little heel. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why I have a tough time tumbling, hello, skullfly, is the fact that with a cabbing machine, you can just grab anything. I could grab this nice heel right here. See, that's a heel of that material. And make that into the most beautiful looking stone on a cabbing machine in probably 10 minutes. Whereas it could take just months and months not to get perfectly round, but I'll tell you, it's an art in itself to tumble, because it's not in my wheelhouse. You just gotta know who you are, and so most likely I'll probably be separating myself from that tumbler, and maybe somebody else could use it, but I did this. Now it needs some muriatic acid in that little quartz pocket right there. It's not really bots, it's actually a little quartz crystal pocket. But look, it's got a little bit of mineral oil transfer, but I did very little. So you can see just how nice and pretty that is. It's just basically a chunk, but when you take it to the cabbing machine, give her a little turn, all of a sudden it turns into something that's kind of a neat little display. Look at it, just sitting there, just boop. Pretty, it's so pretty. All right. Now, skullfly. I personally like that. That is a slab. Like I said, it's on this video here and that video right there. Continuation, but that right there just makes a wonderful, wonderful display. It really does. It's so pretty. Besides the jade, old skullfly, he's my favorite right there. So anyway, let's go take a look and see just what Holy Toledo had to offer. Holy Toledo, what have you done? Oh, it's such a pretty mess of quartz. You can see our malachite intrusions there. Didn't go very far, did they? They just kind of went around the perimeter. But you know what this makes a candidate for? Something like the skullfly. That's what I'm telling you. There is this material that we find that we got our fingers crossed. We put a lot of effort to carrying some materials off of the hills when you're a collector. And they just don't all turn out with beautiful floating fortification, this and that. They just don't. That's the reason why they're quite rare. So when we have something like this, all right, to somebody that's never seen that before, well, it's neat. But for the people who have been around, it's not that neat. But how about if we put an object, a wolf, some sort of a dragon, something like Skullfly, and make it to where then it becomes Mother Nature's treasure with some human art. And I think that's a wonderful combination. Thank you so very much. Please subscribe. Take care.